So this is our goal, our destination. Let me start off with that. You are going to have a little bat, and there's a tree, and there's a moth on the other side of the tree. And so the job is to get you to program the bat to get to the moth without crashing into the tree, so you have to go around the tree. And the catch is that the bat in this program can only go forward, and you can turn left or right. So let me show you what that looks like. This is what it should do. So it goes forward, rotates to the left, then goes forward, rotates to the right. Which way is it going to have to rotate to get down to the moth? Let's see, it's going to have to rotate to the right, go forward, and then
Yum.
It eats the moth. And that is your task. Scratch looks like this. I'm going to give you a real quick intro and sort of focused on what we want you to do here, but you're also going to probably want to look at some other videos about Scratch if you haven't used this type of coding before. But what we're doing here is we're trying to give the computer a sequence of instructions, and they're all done through these cute little blocks that you can drag around and click together. So for example here, the way you run a Scratch program is you click on the Go flag here, this green flag, and that starts things off. And you have, what does it do when that green flag is clicked? Well, there's the when green flag is clicked, you're going to run something called the game setup and then move forward. Now both of those are defined a little bit lower down here. The game setup sets how long you wanted to have the delay in between different events, where you want the bat to go to start things off, which direction you want it pointing off when it starts, how far you want it to move each time it steps along, and then it waits a little bit before it actually executes the next code. So that's the game setup. And then you can see that this executes in order from top to bottom. So the next thing in that list or that chain is move forward. And so the move forward block is all this stuff. And right now, it's going to do this 10 times here, and there's some complicated code here where we figured out how do you get it to move forward based upon X and Y coordinates in this system here. And if it's facing different directions, forward means something different. And so we've coded that in here for you, and you're ready to just sort of call that. And if you want to call that feature of move forward, you go to the left side here, and there are these red blocks that have some custom code that we've created. We've made our own custom blocks, including move forward. There's the game setup. But each one of the other blocks is organized by color, sort of thematically around things. If you want to move different things, you can use these. If you want to play sounds, you can do this. And there's certain sounds already attached. You can see there's the yum sound and the buzz sound.
Yum.
That you're going to use, and you're going to be able to call all these things. Now, you saw in the first part that you also have the turn right, and we've coded turn right, and I can just tap on it once and it will show you what it does. You can watch the bat over there. I'm turning it right every time I tap on it. And then you'll see that there's a block that I've defined called turn left. And here you're going to add the code that's going to make the bat turn left. And what you're going to do is you're just going to try and copy the same procedure that's used over here and put the sequence of events there. It's a really quick, trying to find the right control sequence probably is that here. There, oh look, there's the repeat block, so you can be able to drag that in. And the turn block, you have to figure out where that one is. They're all color coded, so it should be pretty easy. You can also see that you can embed little sub blocks in here. You can have it wait a specific time, but we actually want it to wait the predefined delay time that we had, that we set that up, if you remember over here, delay to 0.5 seconds. And we want to do that 1/20th of a time. And you can see how we chose to do the moving. In order to make the moving more interesting, we have it do it in little steps, turning a tiny bit, about 10 degrees, and then waiting a little bit, and then it repeats that 9 times. So what's 9 times 10 is 90 degrees. And so that's why we do that. And so I want you to copy that process so you get some practice doing this repeat process here, as well as sort of seeing how you can insert more than one thing within a repeat block. Then you remember that once the bat gets over there, it's time to do the feeding buzz. And you can see this comment tells you what you're supposed to do. You're going to have to make the code that's going to have the bat spin around and play the feeding buzz sound. And then at the end of the feeding buzz, you're going to have to add code to check, is the bat close to the moth? And so you can see that there's some things that will help you figure out. I think that's in Well, you'll have to look around here to try and see if you can figure out. There's some code already built in that will help you figure out how close you are to another object. And if you are within a certain distance to that object, you'll be able to figure that out. So that you'll have to hunt through the blocks to find that. And then you're going to use an if block. Those are here in the control area here. If something's true, then do certain code. Otherwise, do some other code. So if you're close to the moth, I want you to celebrate by eating the moth. And if you're not close to the block, if you're not close to the moth, I want you to insert some stuff in this section here that's going to basically say, oops, and you'll have to figure out how to get it to say oops as well. So that's pretty much all that there is to it. Remember, you have to avoid the tree. Don't just go straight across. You got to go up and around. So you have to make some turns in there. And some other things to note. You can see on the right that each one of these little characters, they're called sprites in Scratch, has its own set of code. So like the moth, when the flag is clicked, I make sure that it's showing itself. And it's waiting for a message. The moth is waiting for a message to be broadcast out. And this is how you can send messages from one character to another, from one sprite to another, is by broadcasting a message. And I've already pre-coded here so that the moth, as soon as it receives a message called hide moth, it will hide itself. So you need to make the bat. In the celebration script, you're going to have to figure out how to broadcast that message so that the moth will be able to receive it and disappear. Because it's got to get eaten, right? So that's the basic idea, is there's these sequences of events that you're coding, and it's pretty easy. You just drag things over here, and if this is true, you can say if, you can put in greater than and less than operators, and I can say if 60 is greater than 50, if that's true, well, that is true. That's always true, and so it's going to do whatever's in there. So I can get it to, I can get it to do something fun, like, I don't know, we can get it to, well, actually, you know what we should do? We should have the bat move forward. And we'll slide that in there. In fact, we'll have it move forward and then turn left. Oh, no, I didn't want turn left, so I'm going to take turn left and I'm going to move that, and I'm going to just drag it back over there and drop it in, and it disappears if you put it back onto this case there. I actually want it to turn right, and then I can test that out. And sure enough, 60 is greater than 50, so it moves forward and turns right. But if I change this here to if 20 is greater than 50, and I tap on it, nothing happens. Because 20 is never greater than 50, so there's nothing that's going to happen. So you know what I can actually do? I can do an if then else, and I can drag my green thing in there. I can drag this block, and you'll see when you drag a block, it drags everything down below it. So if you want to move something off of it, you have to kind of start taking things away from down below. Let's get rid of this by dragging it back and dropping it over onto the bar over there. And now, if 20 is not greater than 50, we can just maybe, let's go ahead and just turn left without moving forward. And I can tap on it. Oh, we haven't coded anything. It's not doing anything because turn left doesn't have any current things defined, but you can see that it would do something different. I can get it to just move forward without turning. Let's try that. There we go. But again, if I change this back to 65 and tap on it, now it's going to move forward and spin. So I'm done with that. I'm just going to drag it over and say I don't want that. And you are ready to try using this. And like I said, if you want to watch some more YouTube videos about how Scratch works, you can go ahead and do that. That's the best way to learn this here. But this should give you enough to get started. And of course, I should say the whole reason we're doing this is not because we're ever going to code again in Scratch, but it's to get you used to the idea of some of the things that you can do with coding. So when we get to the fancy coding that we use in the scientific process, the R scripting, you're going to have a better idea of what it's supposed to be doing and how it works, and kind of it'll really help you get a foundation for coding. So have fun.